Good morning, Eight of Cups family. I wanted to jump in and just do a quick energy check-in with everybody. I don't normally do this, but we're in some pretty intense things right now. There's a lot of planetary action and a lot is happening in this next week. Now, there's a million places that you can go on YouTube to find some really fantastic astrology teachers and a lot of astrological support. One of my favorites is Astrology Hub. Molly McCord is really wonderful. There's so many. If you want to check out Rick Levine, there's so many astrologists, and trust that you will kind of be guided to find the right ones that fit you, right? There's so many different types of astrologers, different personalities, people that are a little bit more upbeat. There's people that are a little bit more realistic, and I think there's kind of a shoe for every foot, and you kind of have to trust yourself and your guidance and know that there's just plenty of information out there. However, I want to show my appreciation. One of the things that has happened for me recently is that the channel has really expanded. The views are picking up, my subscribers are picking up, and I don't like to go and make a comment about like share the videos or comment, or I don't like to ask for that. I don't market my channel. It's not even embedded, so I just like to know that I'm here to support, and I trust that if you've found me, then there's probably something of value that I could offer you. But I do want to take a minute to show my gratitude and my appreciation. I am so grateful that you stop and you listen to what I have to say. And it's tremendous to me that together we can kind of create this thing. I really love doing this. I love what I do here, and it means a lot more when I know that these things are resonating and helping you as well. So just a reminder that together we're doing this, and I'm very proud of it. So quick energy check-in. We've got so much going on. We're in the middle of eclipses. We are just moments away on Sunday from a Sagittarius full solar eclipse, which is awfully close to the galactic point. We also have some stuff going on with Neptune. We have a major Neptune square. We're at the final anaretic degrees of Saturn and Jupiter in Capricorn. We're starting to exit that Capricorn energy now. Pluto remains there. So it is not as if the Capricorn energy won't stay with us. And I'm going to go over this a lot more in detail with people that are highly affected with the Capricorn placements. And in fact, right now, just below me on my desk are my cards laid out for the Capricorn 2021 readings. So guys, they're in the works, they're coming. The thing I want you guys to really do this week, because I know it's really easy at this time of year to get focused on what are my new plans, what are my resolutions. I want you to kind of avoid that. I know that sounds silly, and I'm not going to tell you that all the way through 2021. This is really just in the next week or two, because I need you to stay soft and I need you to stay observant and mutable. We're in mutable energy. That's what the solar eclipse is about. Now, we are in some pretty heavy karmic places. We are closing out a lot of chapters in our lives. We've all talked about this throughout all of the readings. We're really being shown what belongs with us and what needs to be left behind. We're also in the middle of this Mars-Pluto square. It's the final one, and it's the biggest one, and this is probably the largest catalyst of our evolution throughout 2020. Now, 2020 has been so big, so there's no way that it hasn't changed us. It hasn't affected us. Mars has been retrograde, and now it is moving direct, although slowly. It's limping, and the thing with Mars is he is different now. His ego's been stripped. He's been humbled. He's been kind of forced to look at the situation for what it is. South Node in Sag. There's less abundant optimism and more reality. That's also true with this Capricorn energy. We really have to look at the reality of the situations, but in the mode of the greater picture of what we truly want. The thing is, 2020 made us look at our priorities differently. It made us look at our personal happiness. There's a lot going on for us collectively. People are walking out of long-term relationships. People are starting new ones. People are ending careers, leaving jobs, having children, starting new lives often. And you look collectively how many people are moving, how many people have left cities that they no longer resonate with. The fact that we can now work remotely means we are not held to one area within, an hour's drive to work every day. Our options are beginning to open because we're allowing that change. Now, I can promise you from a mundane astrology standpoint, when it comes to the news, when it comes to politics, it's going to get really insane. And a lot of us are probably going to be spending, a lot of our time watching the news. Yes, it's important to stay informed, but it is also important to stay in the present, because if you're so involved politically and in the news, you could miss out on a lot of the opportunities and gifts that are being handed to you through the collective. So it's really important to prioritize your life, your family life, your happiness, and your habits. Now, we are also in a lot of fire energy with Sagittarius, Mars, and Aries. And that can cause a lot of stuck energy. Now, for people that are kind of resisting the change, for anybody who's resisting to see the truth in anything, please know I'm not expressing any political opinions here whatsoever. This is really about what's internally in your soul. If you're determined to stay in the job because it's safe, because it's reliable, if you're determined to stay in these relationships because it's easier than knowing that you don't know what would come next, these areas of our life are really going to get stripped down. So your willingness to look at things and your willingness to feel things right now will greatly serve you to prepare you for what is coming. There is major soul growth and major expansion. And as Saturn and Jupiter are really laying in on these final degrees in Capricorn, we really have to face our responsibility and what our relationship with responsibility really is. I think there's so many of us that kind of become a slave to the ideas of the collective. You've got to work that 9 to 5. And if you really want to succeed at a career, you probably have to work 7 to 8, and then our family, and how do we want to raise our families? What is the time that we need to put in with our children? I mean, children has been a focus this year in 2020. North Node in Gemini, they'll continue to be a major focus. And I think a lot of us are questioning, how do we want our children to grow up? What is important? We're seeing a lot of truth come out about our schools, about how they best learn and what nurtures them. And there's going to be a lot more changes, but this stuff can't really happen until we're willing to take a really hard look at it. So again, for those of us that are just kind of trying to plow through these Zoom learning and just get through it, please know there's something you're supposed to experience and see and feel and learn from all of this. And it's going to help serve you in so many different ways in the future. I think a lot of us have gotten the opportunity to actually witness how our children learn in a school setting, which is kind of a blessing. We all got to see our children a little bit clearer. And we got to learn some of their struggles that they go through. So in a lot of ways, 2020 has been a gift. Now, if you're struggling financially, Please know that 2021 has a lot of opportunities for expansion and growth. This is really just a period of, and this is what Saturn does. Saturn contracts. So a period of pulling back, a period of lesson, and especially when Jupiter is in Capricorn. You know, Jupiter was in Sag 2 years ago and everything seemed to have a lot more potential. There were a lot more options, a lot of different ways that things could play out. And as Jupiter came into Capricorn and moved through those degrees, you started to realize there are less and less choices. There are less and less options. And we need to really start to see the bare necessities, what is the things that we need in our life to stay alive, to survive, and then there's the things that nurture us. That's what this whole thing has been about. And we have to allow the change. Now, what's happening, we're going through cycles that we haven't gone through in 800 years. As a society, none of us have ever gone through this in our lifetimes. We have to look to the past. We have to look to the psychology of it all. And I think that the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction in Aquarius, as these planets start to move, we're going to start to have a different insight. There's a feeling of optimism, there's a feeling of healing, and also we are starting to learn how to become a little bit less attached, emotionally attached to outcomes, attached to our personal needs. That's going to feel like a blessing, because once we move out of that emotional place and we move out of this major earth element, which can oftentimes make us feel stuck. Energy can feel stuck. Quickly, we're going to shift into an area where things start to happen really fast. Opportunities start to come in. People start to come in. Now, I said that we're in a karmic period. I'm so sorry. Let me take a sip of coffee. I mentioned that we're in a karmic period, and with karma comes soul contracts. So there's this area in our life where we're starting to really put an emphasis on our relationships, what they mean, what they give to us, what we are able to give others. And I'm not just talking about, romantic relationships or relationships with our spouses. All relationships are on the table here. Relationships with our family, relationships with our friends, the effort that people are willing to put in to nurture and help evolve with each other. Now we're changing frequencies with all these changes that we've been on. We're all on this path of soul growth. And when we change frequencies this quickly, when we go from one vibration to another at this rapid of a rate, which is what happens when you start to move into all of this air and fire energy, we stop resonating with certain people, certain jobs, certain habits, everything. We stop resonating with a certain area and we start bringing in new. So if you're seeing relationships, if you have a group of friends, maybe this is related to your children's school and you used to hang out with all these moms, and maybe we've all been through areas of 2020 where we can't really be like that anymore. Something happens where money becomes tight, and we start to really look at our relationships and what they're really based on. Anything that feels shallow probably isn't going to stick around. Anything where you feel like you have to show off or have a certain level of materials, or even certain religious or political beliefs. We were at a time where everybody needed to be exactly like us. They needed to believe in the things we believed in, which is why everything became very polarized. We're changing our frequency, and thankfully that's going to have less pressure on us, less power over us. Because when you move into Aquarius, you just start to be who you are. You just start to become more comfortable in your skin. and people become a little bit more open and quirky and weird, and you start to enjoy people for more of who they are and less of what they can do for you. I really like that energy, and I like what that can bring into our lives. And I like the fact that there's probably a lot of people drifting away from us at this time, and a lot more people coming in. Now, if you're saying, listen, I just broke up with somebody, there's nobody else that I'm meeting, we're all in that period where you don't really know where things are going to go. You're ending one thing and you have no idea what's going to come next. And that's okay. That's a good time for you to sit back and really feel and really learn about yourself. Emphasis also with getting in your body. I know I say that to people from time to time, but again, with this fire energy, if you're staying in those jobs, if you're participating in those relationships, when it makes you feel frustrated, when you think about these things and you begin to feel this resentment build up in your body, these things simply can't continue. And that's when the eclipses are going to kind of step in and do their thing. Eclipses can kind of end things abruptly. They could give you that moment of courage. Oh, I saw something so fantastic. Somebody posted on social media the other day about you really only need 20 seconds of courage to really change your life. That moment where you're just so fed up, you finally say that thing or do that thing, or it's like that fuck it moment that could really change everything for you. And I think that's what these eclipses will do for a lot of people. Pay attention to that resentment bubbling to the surface. Pay attention to the way that you feel. Pay attention to your body. If you feel ill, if you feel drained, if you feel headaches that come on every time you kind of go to work or every time you hang out with this person, you really need to take accountability at this time and take a look at what these things are doing to you physically. A great way to channel this stuck energy out of you is through yoga, working out, dancing. I know that I'm hearing all these stories from COVID, like you can have weddings, but you can't dance. And guys, there's nothing stopping you from turning on that music and dancing around your living room. And you have no idea the kind of therapeutic healing that can occur just by moving your body. Even if you feel silly, even if you feel, just take the time to do it. Take the time. Stretches, dancing. If you are in a happy, wonderful relationship, by all means, connect at this time. Your children, take an extra moment to hug them, to really enjoy them, to cuddle up on the couch. It's Christmas time. We're in the middle of a winter solstice. We have so much changing, and it is as important to recognize the things that no longer fit you as it is to recognize the things that still do, the things that you really truly love. You want to give them your attention and really focus in on the emotions that occur when you're doing that. Guys, this final Mars square Pluto is kind of like a final exfoliation. When I focused in on this energy, I kind of saw a power washer on a deck, like when you're going out and you're, in the springtime and you're taking off all those layers of dirt and grime from the winter and chipping off those loose pieces of stain and getting it to a really smooth surface so you could start to apply the next layer of stain. And that's kind of where we're at, okay? We gotta get all this stuff off, all these final things that are still like residue from the things that we've gone through, really all the way from even 20 years ago. The residue I'm talking about is probably these old belief systems. And this is at Saturn at 29 degrees of Capricorn. It's that voice that says you're not really good enough, you aren't qualified enough, or you can't leave this job because you'll never find anything better. That voice in your head that says, I'm not really happy in this relationship, but I don't know if I ever want to date again or go through all of that, so I'm just going to stay here. Yeah, that's not going to work. It's not going to work because you're going to be forced to honor yourself. And not to mention that if you're staying in a relationship or in a job that you aren't really passionate or in love with anymore, well, that job and that other person deserves somebody that's passionate about them. So this is what I mean about that karma. We've got to step down and step out so that everybody has what they need and what they truly deserve. Doors are opening, portals are opening, possibilities are going to become a lot more than they have been all through 2020. All the planets are almost all the planets are moving direct, and 2021 is going to be a breath of fresh air in a lot of ways, and also a lot of us getting adjusted to rapid amounts of change. Allow this Mars-Pluto to do this exfoliating process. Allow these things to be stripped from you. Allow yourself to focus in on the things that you are good at, on the things that you are capable of. You are being called to exhibit the gifts that you have. There are certain things that we are meant to do. The reason why we are all here at this time, in this era, to survive this level of craziness is because we all have a job here, and it is truly all about our natal Saturn. Well, for example, my natal Saturn is in Virgo, which is my ability to serve, to teach, and to heal, and it's in my 8th house, so that's about psychology and the occult and tarot and astrology. So this year in 2020 has really gotten me out of this comfort zone and forced me to open up. And even if it's not, millions of people, it's just changing and being heard by a few people and empowering you guys to change your life in positive directions. And this is a chain of healing. This is a chain of raising our frequency and our vibration. So believe in yourself, believe in the gifts that you have, believe in your ability to help others and your ability to survive. Things are going to be wonderful moving forward. We just have to get through this tough period, guys. All right, I'm going to be back very shortly with these 2021 videos. They're pretty epic and I'm really enjoying them. And until then, I will see you guys. Have a great eclipse. Love you. Bye.